Hey everyone, Leo here, coming at you again with another BB Tag modding tutorial. Today we're going to go over palette swapping, or rather palette creating. This only applies for the PC version of the game because there's no way to push files to the PlayStation 4 or the Switch. So cool. We're gonna need a few tools to get started. The most important tool is the BB Tag IM editor from Kovidovi, I think is who made it. So shoutouts to you. But basically, they made palette editing insanely easy. It's ridiculous how easy it is to do things with palettes in this game. And I'll provide links to that in the description below. We need the Geode BB Tag Crypt tool and the Pack FC like we did in the last video. And we're also going to need the IMPL HPL converter. I'm going to link all of these in the description below, so don't even worry about trying to search for those. So, first thing we want to do is unpack the BB Tag IM. Whoops, don't open Discord. Open Steam. We're going to go to Properties, Local Files, Browse Local Files to open up the game files. Get that out of here. And what you're going to do, I already have it installed as you can see, but what you're going to do is you're going to copy and paste the settings.ini, the palettes, and the di input 8.dll into this folder, and they should be good to go. We can go ahead and launch BB Tag. Hopefully, no, it's on the wrong screen. Yeah. This is going to be a little bit different, because normally in the last video we did all of our work outside. Yeah, you'll know it's working because you can see right here, there's a little window that's like, oh, the DI input, blah, blah, or the BB Tag improvement mod has been released. Okay. So, first thing you want to do, hit F1 on your keyboard, and it'll bring up this little HUD over here. We're not going to use it just yet. Go to your training mode, is usually where I like to do stuff, but it really doesn't matter. Training mode's usually easiest to work with. And today, just for today, we're going to mod one of the easier palettes in the game.
Please select your character.
So every palette has its own set of caveats, right? I have not worked with Hard Ino, so I don't know what those are going to be like. Blazblues are pretty simple, actually. Personas are a pain in the butt because you have to do the main character and their persona and all the special effects. Uni is also pretty easy. Ruby is probably the most painful to work with so far. And I can explain those later, but if you're looking for just easy palettes to get yourself used to working with, I would suggest like Hyde or Line or something, just because they're easy. Ragna or Jin also probably work because they don't have a whole lot of effects. But today we are going to mod Batista. And then your partner doesn't really matter, whatever. Pick whoever. I like going on training mode, or on the training stage rather, because it's really easy to see what you're doing. We won't really worry about,
Get ready.
I guess, visuals or sound effects, because again, we're just working with, or not visuals rather. Don't worry about a lot of stuff. It's super simple, I promise you. Cool. Okay, first thing that I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna mute the game. There we go. Yeah. So, now that the game's muted, we get to do the fun part. If you go up to this BB Tag improvement mod right here, we hit custom palettes, and we'll hit palette editor. It'll open up this whole block of nonsense. And basically what this does is it edits the palette. It does what it says on the tin, folks. First thing you're going to want to do is check this little freeze frame right here, and it'll pause the game completely. So that way people aren't moving or wiggling around or whatever when you're trying to edit palettes. And click this, it says highlight mode, and it'll blacken your character for the character sheet that we're on. So what this does is, if I click this, it shows me everywhere that this color appears. Same for that. So we can see that these 5 colors right here is Batista's skin. And if we turn off highlight mode, that's correct. Only these 5 right here are showing up where her skin is. Same for this. Those are her eyes and eyebrows. This is her eyebrows and like outline. This is her eye color. This is gonna be her hair. 6 whole colors for her hair. 7, I think. These two probably, if they don't highlight like this, they probably show up somewhere else in her sprite, so it's always a good idea just to color these in, just in case they do actually show up. This is something on her head. What is that? Oh, it's her eyebrow right there. But yeah, basically, just get a feel for where everything is. Look for what you want to mod. Look for what you want to edit. So like, for instance, if I wanted to change her hair, then I can go here. I'll click this little button right here. And let's say I just want to make it hot pink or whatever. Kabam! Just like that. Super easy. And then you can edit whatever the hell, whatever you want. Now that looks really bad. So if we want to reset to our original values, we're going to go up here. We'll hit select palette. And we'll hit default. And it'll reset it all to what the default color is. If you select the first color, or like anything but the first color on the character select screen, then it'll reset to that default. So what we're going to do, we'll get into that later. Right now we're going to save this as, we're going to be modding her into Peacock from Skullgirls. So if we go over here, we have a good image of Peacock right there. So we'll go down here. We'll name the palette description as Peacock. Whoopsies, that is in caps. Peacock. Creator is whatever your name is. For me, it's Leo, my friend. People won't usually be able to see that, but whatever. And then the palette name, and this is very important. And we're going to edit the palette name, her file name, which is going to be UVA00. And I'll explain that when we get to that. Yes, I'll override it. Perfect. So that means any edits that we do, when we save the palette, it's going to save it to a specific file. And then if we accidentally screw something up somewhere along the line, uh-oh, I didn't want that. And I don't know what color this was. Default, let's reset, and we go back to UVA. So, now comes the tedious part. Is getting this. There we go. We're going to try to get this to match this. And this is where you kind of just do it. This is probably the hardest part, is getting all the colors to match right. So something that I like to use is a little tool called Color Cop. It's a free color picker tool. Where am I going? Right here. Grab this. Totally free, totally safe to use. From what I've seen. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't need a desktop icon, thank you. Cool. So then, you're like, oh, I don't know what shade Peacock is. Grab this. Oop. Oop. Or rather, I want to grab highlight. So we'll grab that orange bit of hair right there. And we have the hex code. Copy that. And then this is where the hair is the brightest on Batista. Paste that there. Bada bing, bada boom. We got ourselves a nice color. But Leo, you say, that only covers her highlight. I want to get all of the hair. Well, my friend, we have a little thing called a gradient generator right here. We click this, and we can go ahead and match up the start color to 247, 247, 112, and 46. So we can see that matches. And we want to get it to go from here all the way to there. So we're going to click Show Indexes, and we see that it starts at 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we want to go from 17 to 23 on this color. So if we hold Control and click on it, we can manually enter the numbers. So we'll click there, we want 17, and we'll go to 23. And so we have the highlight, and we want to go all the way to the darkest bit of hair on her. So we color pick something up there, whatever. And we see it's 110, 46, green, and 34 blue. So that means it's going to start at index 17, which is this one right here, the highlight of her hair, and it's going to go to index 23, which is right there. And it'll go from this color, the highlight, all the way to that color. And we'll generate gradient, and bada boom, there it is. A beautiful bit of hair. Of course, that's just her hair. We have to do the rest of this. But it's a good place to start. So now you kind of just do it. Oop, didn't want that. You kind of just have to do the whole thing. So I'll get back to you when it's all done. Feel free to watch my process or just skip to this time code right here. Cool, I'll see you in a bit. Alright, and I think that about does it. We made Peacock, basically. Something that you'll probably notice, so with Batista, all of her palettes, or all of her tools rather, are all inside this one sheet. So if you notice, I changed the lasers. Right over here. Those are where the lasers are. Same with the balls, they share the color with the lasers. You can't change a whole lot of particle effects. So you see the little sparkles around. Let me see if I can get a good freeze frame of it. So you see like these little sparkles over here. You can't change those, unfortunately. But yeah, if you notice, we can change the way that these lines colors pulsate down here. The colors of her wings are all over here. Basically, everything that you need to change for Batista is going to be on this one sheet. And that's important to note, because some other characters have 8 sheets. All of Batista's are blank because all of her effects are on one sheet, because Uni is incredibly simple like that. Very, very easy stuff to change. And we can go into that in a second. I can switch over to someone that's not Uni. But yeah, that's Batista. You also cannot change the color of Resonance Blaze. Or, yeah, that's the term for it. Can't change the color of that. Can't change the color of the outline of the DP, unfortunately. But if you do ever want a good look at the character, you can always do the IK and like freeze frame it, which I failed to do. Which I failed to do right there. Great work. But no, Batista is Peacock. And I think it looks pretty darn great. So, normally, after we save that palette, normally we'd be done. We could hand out that IMPL, and anyone who has the BB Tag Improvement mod could use it. Generally. But we're not done. We're going to go ahead and make this into a real palette. So, I can just close BB Tag at this point. I don't need it anymore. So, we've got all these tools. We're going to go into our games files. We're going to find the BB Tag IM folder right here, the improvement mod. And we'll go to palettes, and we'll go all the way down to Batista. And we see the one right here that we named UVA00.impl. We'll go ahead and copy that, bring it over to the palette tutorial folder, and we'll paste it inside the IMPL to HPL converter. So, we'll go ahead and take this UVA00.impl. We'll actually let's copy that into, I have a separate folder for every character, so we'll go to colors, scroll down to Batista, Let's make a new folder. We'll call it Emerald, because that's I did one for Batista earlier that was Emerald. We'll paste this one here. So paste it back in here as well. Oh, we cut. Come on. There we go. Paste it here, and we'll just drag and drop it right onto the IMPL to HPL converter. Boop. And it opened up on the other screen, but I got this little window that says like skipping blah 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 blah. It'll basically find everything in this folder that's an IMPL folder or IMPL file and change it to .hpl. But why is that important? Because BBTag only reads .hpl files, but we're gonna have to rename them. Every file needs to be renamed to the character name. So for Batista, it's U for Eunice. I'm pointing with my finger. I don't know why I'm doing that. It's U for Eunice, and then 2 letters of the character. So UVA 00. Nope, don't want to open it. No, don't want to open it. UVA 00, and then we'll underscore 00. And then for every other thing, it adds underscore effect 01. Just get rid of effect. You have to do this for every single one. It's a little bit tedious, but I mean, there's only 8 of them, so whatever. So what we're doing here, if you remember all those character sheets that I showed you earlier, where Batista only had one that was populated, technically we only need this one right here because that's the only one that has any palette information. The rest of these are all blank. But other characters have things on every single sheet. Like the Ruby characters have one for the character, one for the weapon, one for the effect, one for a different effect, and it just goes on and on and on. So it's good to get into this habit. Oops, sorry, bumped the mic. It's good to get into this habit just in case you decide to do other characters that are a little bit more complicated. Luckily, Batista isn't. So we have all these. I'm going to go ahead and copy these. Actually, I'll copy them. Colors. Scroll on down to Batista. Paste. Yeah, replace that one because it's the same thing. So we have all those. We have it in here. We're going to go back into... Actually, no, we don't even need to do that. So now we need to get the actual file. So the file from the game's assets, that is. So we're gonna go into BBTag blah 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 asset, and then if you remember in the BBTag Discord, there's a spreadsheet full of file names. Actually, can I open this on my other one, please? Thank you. Sweet, so the spreadsheet is completely filled out. Thank you, Seggel and Hatham Quake and Crunchy Maggots. Mostly Seggel? I don't know. You are a god. you have all these file names, and it's made palette editing and music editing very easy. So, we go into these tabs down here, and we're going to find 2 files specifically. We need this file for the actual in-game palette. This is what you see whenever you go into battle, whenever you go into game. And we're going to search for that in the assets folder in the BBTag folder. So we'll copy this file, and we'll go back to our palette tutorial, paste it there. And we'll just do this one first. So, take this. If you remember from the... No, we can get rid of that. If you remember from the last tutorial, we have to copy this into the Geo BBTag crypt tool, and it'll decrypt the random file name that it was into a .pack file. And then we can open it with the packfc. Oh, it opened on the screen. There we go. And we can see all these different sheets. Basically what this is every single color that Batista has 8 different palette sheets for it. And as we know, 7 of those are blank. But the game doesn't know that. So it's best just to get into this habit. Like I said, some characters use all 8, some characters only use 1. It just kind of depends on character by character. But we can see that the game has capacity for Batista to have 35 different colors. 34 plus 0 is the first color. And what we're going to do is we're going to right-click, replace, and then we'll find... no, we're in the wrong folder. No, we're in the right folder. We go to BBTag Mods, Palette Tutorial, IMPL to HPL Converter, and then we see all these. Click 00 because we're changing the first one. UVA 00 underscore 00. Open. We get a little notification that they've been successfully replaced. And then we do that for every single one. And so what this is doing is it's replacing every single palette sheet with the palette sheets that we just made and converted into HPL. Sweet. So, that's that. And if you remember, every time you open it up in PackFC and make a change, it's going to make a backup file. So this is the original file from the BB tag folder, and this is the original pack file that we made from this one. We don't want either of the, well, technically we do want this one, because we need to make backups. Oops, I forgot to do that. Always make backups, kids. Backup. Yeah, whatever. So always make backups. You can label it even further, like Batista. Back it in there. And then we actually don't need to label it further because we're going to be using both files. So now that we have a backup, we can get rid of those. Now we take this pack tool, pop it back into the GeoBBTag crypt tool to crypt it back into the file that we need, or the file format rather. So we'll copy it into asset. Yes, the destination already exists. Blah 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 blah. Cool. So if we were to go into game right now, Batista would have that color palette. But Batista would not show up with that color palette if we looked at it on character select. BBTag stores character select color palettes and in-game color palettes separately. So we have to do both of them because it's just how it goes. So we will copy this file name, go into the BBTag asset folder, copy this file, and we'll paste it here as well. Decrypt it into the pack file, open it up with the pack thing, and you'll notice in this one there's a lot fewer because it's not looking for every single palette sheet, it's just looking for the first palette sheet. So we can hit replace, click that, sweet, and that's fully replaced. So you can see every single one has just the first palette sheet. So, sometimes it does this, just exit the folder and go back in. So we have the backup, copy, paste it in here, delete the backup and the pack.backup, recrypt the pack file. We can get rid of the pack file. So copy this new file that we've created and paste it into the asset folder. So now when we look at Batista on the character select screen, she's going to have that color. So now we're basically done. That's it. Our two files are right here, these two right here, and we have the two backups. The reason that we don't subdivide by character select palette and the in-game palette is because you're never going to be using one without the other, because there's no point. It would just be weird. So we have these two already in the folder. We'll open up BBTag, and we see our magic happening. Maybe. Blazblue! Okay. Yes, please close. Go down to training mode.
Please select your character.
So we'll find Batista. So Batista, hit Y, or I guess on this it's I, for color select. Bada boom, there it is. Right there on the character select. Looking all fancy. And of course you can see all the other colors that she has as well. I think we did a pretty good job. I think that palette looks great on Batista.
Batista.
I'm gonna pick some other characters just so we can look at what their palette sheets look like. Ah, the music isn't muted. So now we can see that we've got Batista in game, perfectly working. If we look over on the BBTag improvement mod, all of these are set to their default. So if we wanted to change Batista to one of the other mods I have installed, like Emerald, we can. Or we can just set it to default. And if somebody doesn't have the BBTag improvement mod, then it'll just look like this. It'll look great. We've got the lasers, we've got all this stuff. Everything works perfectly. I brought some other characters into here so I could show you how their palette sheets look. We open up the palette editor. Let me see it, please. Cool. Let's freeze frame. So we see Batista's right here. We know that all of her stuff is on one sheet. All the other sheets are empty. But if we look at Ruby's, hers looks a little bit differently. If we check out the highlight mode, we can see this is her main character sprite. And her other character sheets have different, like, effect gradients and things like that. And it all kind of depends on what move is active. So, like, Ruby has a lot of different effects. If you see that, she's got, like... Let me see if I can get a good freeze frame. Huh! Yeah, so you see over here, that's on a different sheet. I think it might be on one of these. Actually, don't know. It's on one of these. You kind of have to just do some searching and digging to figure out which sheet is what. And the same goes for like Ragna. His is very simple. If we check out his character sheets, some of them just have effects. All the other ones are just blank. Like I said before, it really varies on a character-to-character basis. And then we have the persona characters. We have one for them, one for their persona, a few for all of their effects, one for like use persona transforms into Izanagi no Okami, and then another persona, and then the other two just exist. They're the exact same as his first one, but they're just kind of there. So some of them don't really matter, but it might get you into a good habit to change them if you need to. I don't think I changed 6 or 7 for you when I edited them because they don't appear anywhere. They're just straight copies of his first one. So you kind of just have to play around. But that's it. That's palette swapping in BB Tag. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. I'm at Leo, my friend, over on Twitter. You can find me in the BB Tag modding Discord. I also play a little bit of Skullgirl, so let me know if you're seeing me there. I made a Sonic pack, like a Sonic themed color and music pack that's I put a lot of time and effort into, so if you're interested, go check that out. I'll also put the link in the description below. You can see cool colors like Chris Thorndike for Ragna, or Emerald for Batista, you know? Fun stuff. So go check out all my stuff. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching. Have a good one.